Hello, welcome to All About Stocks. My name is Alan, and I got some messed up hair there. So, interesting developments have happened. That is why I've not made a video in a while. It turns out the SEC might be going after the people who are making stock videos on YouTube and TikTok. That means your boy Kevin might be going or getting chased after by the SEC. He might no longer be able to make YouTube videos, or the quality in which he makes YouTube videos might be challenged. So the videos that he has, he will not be able to talk about specific stocks. So the people who are naming specific stocks are what the SEC is most questioning. This is because they are creating pump and dump like schemes. And since this has been all about what my YouTube video or YouTube channel is about, it is kind of stopping me from making YouTube channel or YouTube videos, YouTube content. So just kind of putting everything on pause right now. However, yes, I'm trying to quit smoking also right now. However, we do have the question of World War III, which also kind of puts a big do I want to quit smoking on pause. So the question of World War III, Russia, Ukraine, and all the above. So we got Russia, we got Ukraine. Now we know Russia, that is horrible. Russia, Belarus, China are all allied. Now, the question is Pakistan. Now, this is a personal opinion. I think since Pakistan and India don't like each other, I think Pakistan might eventually, join up. And just because, we just spent the last few years bombing the hell out of them, is the Middle East, Afghanistan, Iraq, any of them going to join up with Russia in the near term? Now, so I'm just going to put, M for Middle East. Now, are any of them going to join up with these three? And North Korea is an ally of China, so indirectly there's an alliance there. Now, maybe you heard it, maybe you didn't. However, North Korea did just send a bomb over there towards Japan. Now, I think that was a nuclear test or something of that nature. I did not hear much about it. So let's go over to Ukraine. Now, I'm going to use red to go with Russia. Now, as far as we're concerned, Russia owns Ukraine and they're encircling Kiev. Now, my assumption is we're on the 4th day, and I'm just going to assume within the week, within the next 3 days, Kiev falls and Ukraine is entirely Russia owned. Now, there's kind of two assumptions here. Is Russia's just going to send troops to the border and just go, hey, Ukraine is ours. Now, Belarus is an ally here. Now I'm going to use green for NATO. I'm going to get a darker color here. So NATO has troops along the border, and if Russia does send their troops over there, there are kind of the chance of a conflict breaking out anywhere here, just due to the fact that there's the troops side by side. There's also the chance of Russia going, hey, we're done, and some type of agreement coming to fruition. However, I doubt it, just because if you look at our past, when the U.S. invaded Iraq, the U.S. did not stop. They continued to invade. They went from Iraq to Afghanistan. Now, that's just past, and history tends to tell us the human condition. I'd say we look at Vietnam, but there's not much to tell us outside of U.S. loss. Now, if you look at North Korea, let's go to... Oh, you know what? I'm going to show you something that also might be very important here. So keep in mind, so we got Russia. So basically that's the line. And if I can change this over. Now keep in mind that the US is saying, hey, COVID's not a problem. Now, and like I said, this is the line. Now, the US is saying, hey, we're done with COVID, don't worry about COVID. Now, we just saw a mass transit of all these people into Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Lithuania. Now, for the base cases, we're looking at what, 300,000, 400,000, roughly. We'll go with 1 million people, maybe 300 million people. Going into, Western Europe, probably as far as they can. They don't want to be here, and they're afraid that, if Russia continues to invade, they don't need to be here. So they might go as far in as they can to escape the continuing war. So they might go into Paris. I mean, if they can, right? There's nothing to say they can't. So we can draw that conclusion, right? So if they are able to go into Paris, then why not, right? Now, I can't line that back up. Anyway, so Paris is essentially, hey, COVID-free. UK, essentially COVID-free. Now, I'm assuming the US is essentially COVID-free. We've took away the COVID restrictions. Now, we're bringing that COVID, risk back over into the Western European area, and the US is now allowing flights without mask or anything else over to Europe. So that's something you need to consider. If you're going over to Europe, you need to wear a mask. Now, if you're traveling around US, you need to wear a mask. You're bringing COVID back to us. This is a concern, especially for next year. COVID's not over. And the fact that Biden's dropping this needs to be a concern. Russia just brought us COVID back. So there's a chance to stop it, but it has to be a lockdown now. All these countries need to start wearing the mask. They need to do everything they can to lock down, because this war could actually create a problem, the worst pandemic possible. This is back to 18, right before or right at World War I. So right at World War I, we had the Spanish flu. The Spanish flu was spread because of World War I. And this is essentially what's going to happen right now. Now, are we going to see a World War III right now? Probably not, due to COVID. You can't fight a war while your soldiers are getting sick. They can't fight while they're not able to breathe or throwing up or unable to move. So you can't be concerned about World War III. However, you need to be concerned about COVID. Now, the problem is yes, Russia's going to invade Ukraine. Now, the chances are, yes, there's going to be a conflict. Chances are there's going to be an action or an event that's going to spark a world event, let's say, and the odds are high enough where it's going to engage a NATO alliance, where you're going to have something kick off, events sparking, hey, a World War III type action. So you'll have everyone allying and building tanks and stuff of that, military equipment, basically. Those are high right now. Why? Because there's a country at war, a large country at war, and moving military equipment next to other countries' military equipment. And the actions that will happen are not current, but when the pandemic ends, if it ends, it will happen at that point. So the chances are not now, but 4 to 5 years from now, maybe even 3, that's when you'll see the World War III. I can't talk. Okay, this is backed up by if I can type and erase, we're going to North Korea. So you have North Korea. North Korea, we had basically the communists went out and there was a civil, you had the Civil War basically in 1950s. So the communists went and separated up here. You had the South's down here. All right. So when the South took kind of invaded up here, and they were backed by the U.S. They were able to push North Korea all the way up to, we'll use that, just about here. Now, what happened was China came in, and I hate this thing. I can't use it. Alright, so China came in and came back because they didn't want all these Koreans passing back and coming into China. So they backed the North Korea, and they were able to push the U.S. and South Korea to the 58 parallel. There was no alliance or no whatever peace treaty ever drawn. So this is in somewhat of an ongoing war since the 1950s. So the South has, flourished, and the North not. I don't know what you'd say about the North. They're no one really knows what's going on there, but they're kind of a hermit. They're the hermit kingdom. But you did have, great, go on there. So you have the Sea of Japan. Supposedly, sometime this weekend, the North sent a missile somewhere over here. So this has been a interesting weekend. It's actually been an interesting few weeks. Now you also have China ending the Olympics. Now I don't know if many people know why you haven't heard much from China is they are doing the Special Olympics. I believe it's more referred to the Paralympics. So if anything's going to be coming out of China, I kind of think it's going to be coming up. I think the Paralympics ends on the 13th of March. Now, Russia waited till Wednesday, or I think it's Tuesday night, U.S., which would be Wednesday morning in Ukraine. So I think that China's going to be kind of in that same area if they're going to do anything. And that's just going to give the Olympians a chance to get home. I think that's just kind of more of a respect thing. You don't want to be, doing anything while Olympians are trying to get home. And so there's an interesting thing I was saying earlier about New Delhi, or not New Delhi, but India. You have India. Let's see if this works a little bit better. All right. I don't know what I did. Okay. All right. That's fun. I am so just playing with Google Maps right now because I can't get this thing to work. Great. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, so what I was trying to say about India, I know that's not perfect on Pakistan, but India, Pakistan, they're broke incorrectly. Supposedly it's on religious lines. I don't fully understand their conflict reasons. From like I said, from my understanding, it's about religious. But India, I believe, is a member of NATO, so they be green. Now, I think that you'll have Pakistan joining Russia if World War III was to break out. So you might see a conflict here coming up. And I really believe this is all just because you have the Biden administration. Biden looks very weak, and that gives the possibility, hey, we can go in, have these conflicts without NATO coming in, causing problems. If something happens to Biden, Harris looks very weak, so we can hash out these problems while there's a weak U.S. administration. So that's all I have for you. Once again, these are just my opinions. This is what I see coming up. I do see commodities coming strong. See a weak U.S. stock market coming from all of this. Once again, my personal opinions. We'll see what comes up. That's all I have for y'all. Thank you. Have a great day.